Hi everybody, this is my Module 11 case study. So to summarize the case, we have Mr. Rhodes, who's a first-year principal at Golden Oak High School. There's 965 students, most are middle class. Many parents spend 1 to 2 hours commuting to work, which leaves them a little bit of time, very few time to attend children's extracurricular activities. The school is becoming more diverse. The school has a low turnover rate. Most teachers have 10+ years of experience. Dr. Newman, the superintendent, met with Mr. Rhodes to discuss several problems he wanted Mr. Rhodes to fix regarding attendance issues. Attendance is declining. Last year, Golden Oak had the lowest attendance in the district. The school board policy was aligned with state law, and only excused absences are illness, death in the immediate family, inclement weather, or a valid reason excused by the principal with prior approval. The local school district's policy penalized students' grades for unexcused absences more than 5, and once a student reaches 5 unexcused absences, the teacher can deduct 10 points from the total number of points for the quarter. School district and social services and juvenile court have a good relationship. There are 5 main students that are discussed with attendance. We have Karen, who's an 11th grader who had A's and B's in 9th and 10th grade. She was inducted into the National Honor Society, and then her grades started to decline as a junior, and so did her attendance. She got married over the summer. Her parents requested conferences with her teachers, and she had a pattern of missing Fridays and/or Mondays, and also missed a midterm. Then we have Tyrone, who's a 10th grader in the honors program, missed 14 days in the first semester, is making average progress. His mom wrote a note to miss 5 days of school to go to Washington, D.C., and Dad wrote a note to miss another week of school to go to Canada. Parents say the trips are educational in nature. The school policy is only 3 days of personal days, but his homeroom teacher approved the second missed week of school. Then we have Christina, a 9th grader who's in regular classes. She missed at least 4 days in a row during 3 different weeks in the first semester. She had a form letter from her minister to attend out-of-town church meetings, but the locations and dates were not filled in. Her homeroom teacher initialized and dated each letter and approved them as excused absences. The algebra teacher requested a conference with her parents for missing 2 major exams. She has 2 C's and a D in another class. Then we have Carl, a 10th grader who's in regular classes and vocational classes in the afternoon. Transported the vocational school every afternoon to attend classes in construction and drafting. Randomly missed days and was reported to the truancy officer in November. The truant officer visited his home, and his parents said they gave him permission to miss school if he didn't feel well. Dad said his absences are family business and not school related. It's not school's job to monitor them, and that Carl could come work for him whenever he wanted. He has younger siblings, and the principal is going to check on their attendance records. Then we have John, an 11th grade quarterback on the football team who suffered an injury and couldn't play in the first 2 games. The doctor cleared him to play as long as he went to physical therapy, which had to be scheduled between 12 and 12:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So he was missing school to go to physical therapy. The athletic director also wrote him a note to miss school on Friday afternoons to rest up for the games. Teachers did not report his absences, even though he missed class 3 days a week. So, legal issues. All the students, in essence, have been harmed because their attendance is affecting their performance in school. The entire school community, because school rules are not consistently being enforced. So, students who are following the attendance guidelines are being affected because they're following the rules, and some other students are not. The students who are not following the rules are getting away with it, but it's also affecting their school performance. Other people in the school community and parents can be harmed because the school rules are not being enforced. Board of Education members probably would be upset because school rules are not being enforced. And as a community as a whole, you wouldn't want to send your kids to a school that doesn't seem to be following the rules. According to the ruling in Prince v. Massachusetts, 1944, the states have the right to overrule parents when parents fail to provide for the welfare of their children. School attendance is legally governed by parents' patrie. There are ethical issues. Students married as a junior, is that even legal? How old was she when she got married? Did the parents give consent? There are parents lying to excuse their children for absences. The athletic director is seeking preferential treatment of athletes, and teachers are not following school rules. Synthesis. Mr. Rhodes, the new principal, inherits an attendance problem and must figure out how to encourage his school community to value attendance. So when we look at the facts, the people, there's Dr. Newman, the superintendent, and Mr. Rhodes, the principal, and they're trying to address attendance issues. Then you have 5 students who are chronically absent: Karen, Tyrone, Christina, Carl, and John. We have teachers who aren't following attendance protocols and parents who are not following attendance rules. Then we have the place is Golden Oaks High School, mostly suburban and middle class. Parents are often work 1 to 2 hours away, and diversity is on the rise. The program, I believe, is a public high school, and many opportunities for extracurricular activities exist. There's a National Honor Society and a vocational program for those students who are interested, and a successful sports program. Retrieve and prioritize the information. So the stakeholders, students, teachers, parents, Board of Ed members, could definitely be affected by Mr. Rhodes' final decision. I think teachers need to be part of the decision. I also think there should be parents involved and the truancy officer. Board of Education members should also be part of the decision-making process. I would like to know more about if the previous principal knew about all these attendance problems and possibly they did address them off the record. We don't know that information. I'd also want to know if Karen's marriage is legal. I don't know where the school, what state it's in, so I couldn't look up that information. But was there parental consent? I think I know enough information to make some changes. I obviously don't know all the details, but enough to make a positive change. Identify options and possible consequences. So option 1 would be do nothing and take no action. So leave it just the way it is. Option 2, take action and fire all the teachers not adhering to attendance procedures, follow attendance rules by the book, and hold students and families accountable. Option 3, hold a school meeting, present the focus on attendance, informing students and staff of the importance of attendance. Option 4, hire the truancy officer full-time for your school. Their job will be to take over attendance. Or option 5, develop a committee that has staff, parents, Board of Education members, the truancy officer, to look at the attendance data and develop a plan to fix the attendance problem. So evaluating the options, there's pros and cons to all the options. Option 1, do nothing. And then the pros for that are students whose attendance is not good won't get upset. Other than that, nothing changes for the positive. So the cons for option 1, when you do nothing, you upset basically the whole community, students, parents, staff, Board of Education, and the superintendent. And you still have an attendance problem. Option 2, take action, fire all staff, or penalize all staff not adhering. The pros to that is you can revamp the system and show other teachers you mean business about attendance. Negatives or the cons for that is you could lose you're going to lose tenured staff, which may be hard to do. I don't know what documentation you would have to provide, but it's challenging to get rid of a tenured teacher. And you also create distrust with the staff that's currently there. Option 3, school meeting, everyone stays informed and the message of the importance of attendance gets out. So everyone is on the same page if you have a school meeting about the policies and procedures. Cons for that are students are pulled out of instructional time for the assembly, and students who are in school, which are the students that usually are having the problem, aren't getting the message. Option 4, hire the truancy officer full-time. The pros to that is you will have someone in charge of attendance that's not you and also not a regular teacher, so hopefully it will eliminate some of the bias that could happen. Cons to hiring the truancy officer full-time, it's costly, and not sure if your budget will allow that. Option 5, develop a committee. The pros to that, it gets all stakeholders involved and it makes it a community feel. The cons to that is it takes time to get a committee up and running, and it may be a while before you can actually address the actual issue. Choose the best option. I think the best option would be a combination of options 3 through 5. I would want someone specifically in charge of attendance who is not a teacher. If it couldn't be the truancy officer, then I would want to hire someone for the position. I would also want to have a school meeting so students are on board and understand why attendance is such a big deal. I think some kind of raffle for students who have great attendance would be a cool way to get the students interested. I would also want a school committee formed to make sure that all stakeholders feel included and that many brains are thinking of ways to help teachers and students understand why attendance is such a big deal. Also, as a new principal going into a school, you want to be able to develop the relationship and rapport with your teachers, that you value their opinion and make them an important part of the decision-making process. And imagining the implementation, I would start by hiring either the truancy officer or attendance monitor. I would form a committee, and then I would plan a school assembly to review any new policies and get the school excited about attendance. I would make sure parents are aware of any changes or updates that need to be done by putting them in the school handbook. I think this way everyone involved, all the stakeholders are kept informed. I think this will stop the attendance rates from declining, and by hiring someone to monitor attendance, it doesn't all fall on my principal. I also will be showing the superintendent that I can effectively be a team leader and make important decisions for school improvement. The only problem I can foresee is that you can never make everyone happy, so some parents may still not agree with the rules and try to break them. And that's it. Thanks for watching.